Hello friends, thanks for joining us on Facebook Live. So far it has been so nice journey with you, and today we are going to talk about and explore the most important dimension of life, that is fear. Fear.
So Shantanu and I will be talking about different dimensions of fear, how it originates in us, what causes fear, what happens because of fear, and most importantly, how to deal with it.
So you can share your questions and your views. So in general, we are afraid of many things like dog bite and many things like this. So
You think, Shantanu, it would be a good idea to start with what fear is, defining what fear is? Do you
yes,
think it
yes.
would be a good idea?
As to understand fear, we should set a background, like trying to
Okay.
understand what fear is.
So I would say that fear comes from an experience, a bitter experience in the past. For example, if you take a dog bite. So yesterday I was walking on the road and a dog bites me. So when I come home, I think about it, and then I'm afraid. That experience which I had on the road, that the dog bit me, I think about it, I ponder about it, and I form a belief. And the belief is dogs generally bite. And the response on this belief is fear. So, if you look at it scientifically, experience which leads to belief, which leads to a response, to an understanding, that is fear.
Fear.
So, fear is also a feeling, a response, a reaction, or we can call it as a consequence of an experience which leads to belief. So, if you see, fear is naturally, you know, in all of us. All of us feel afraid. All of us are afraid of something or the other. You know, there is something that always bothers us. So there are times when there is a fear that we learn. When we hear somebody talking about success, that so and so a person has become a very successful person. He has done this, he has done that, he has done hard work, he has been following a rigorous routine, and there we learn fear. And that is in a pattern, the set pattern in that a person acts over years of times, over days. We think if we do not follow that pattern, uh, will not be successful. So that's the fear that you learn. Suppose my father tells me that if you do not study well, you will not get good marks. So I learn the fear of failure. So most of the fears that we have are learned, are learned from the society, the family, the media. You see, people are afraid of crimes, people are afraid of kidnapping, and everything that happens. People are afraid of falling the prey to corruption, and that is because of media. We hear news every day, and that is why it happens. Then, if you come to the next of it, the very basic fear, Shantanu, that nature has, instilled in us, is the fear of death, the fear of end. Now, what do you think? What do you think if a person is just surrounded with fear, fear of every kind, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of death, fear of not doing anything in life, fear of not going anywhere, fear of not performing well? So, that kind of a person would never do anything, because all the time, you see, the mind is just thinking. The mind is so busy magnifying things that we not even look at what it is. So if you actually see it, one brick of fear builds a wall. So, very generally, if we talk about fear, fear is a response to an experience, a bad experience, a negative experience, hurt that we have had. Somebody would have, said something that we did not like, then you are afraid. You are afraid of not being liked by the person.
So Mohit, do you think the fear is good or bad?
Shantanu, I would not say it is either good or bad. Now, most of us, even I and you, what we do is when we think of fear, we start condemning it. We think it is bad, and that is where the problem is. We do not try to look at fear. We do not try to look at fear objectively as any other feeling. We start condemning it, we start accusing fear. Our scriptures, or our society, our culture tells us that fear is a bad feeling. Fear is something that you shouldn't have. So then, very closely, if you see this, monitor this, we are always trying to build a wall against fear. We are always trying to distance ourselves from fear. So instead of that, if we are able to look at fear very objectively, just as any other feeling, just as any other response or reaction that you have for any experience, happy, sad, angry. So we are not able to do that, Shantanu. And that's the whole root of problem. We are not able to see fear objectively. We are not able to, examine it. We are not able to open it like a surgeon opens the body and sees through it. We are not able to do that. And that is because we have always learned to run away from fear. Now somebody might say that I have built a defense over fear. Right? Most of us do. Like over the years, what we do is we kind of suppress the fear. But again, if you watch this, suppression is always a form of escape, right? You find escape from it for some time. But when you see yourself or somebody else in a similar condition or situation, that pops up. So when you suppress it, when you build a defense, what happens is still the fear controls you, right? But the moment you try to understand it, look at it properly, objectively, examine it, be with it. Who's the controller here now? You become the controller. So we always have to understand that fear is something very natural. There is no escape from it. And we don't need to escape, very frankly. That's what I think. The whole problem is when we try to run away from it. Fear is...
So Mohit, so what are the causes of fear?
Okay, okay. So that's a very good question. I would say the very basic cause that all of us create for ourselves is comparison. So the first cause of fear is comparison. You start comparing yourself. You start comparing yourselves in terms of beauty, in terms of how you look, in terms of what you do, in terms of routine, in terms of very silly things like exercise and eating. He eats this, I do not. And comparison is the stepping stone to fear. So, it's a very small thing. All of us do. Right from the family, you are compared to your sibling. कि अरे वो ऐसा कर रहा है, why are you not able to do this? You go to school. What happens is your teacher tells you that he is the child of the same class. He sits with you in the same class. The same teacher teaches him. Why is he scoring a 98 and why are you scoring a 58? Then you come to college. Now, since you have been conditioned to this, what happens is you gradually start comparing yourself. You don't need other person to come and tell you that you're not good, because you have already believed that you're not good. So in everything you start comparing. Then you come out of college, you go for a job or something. By this time, it is so much inside you, it is so deep rooted inside you that you are not able to look at it objectively, because you have accepted that you are good for nothing. Now you stop comparing because you have accepted you're good for nothing. So this good for nothing, this acceptance becomes a part of you. And it creates a variety of fear. You might find yourself incompatible with your wife, with your husband, with people around you, your boss, your son, your subordinates. You start feeling incompatible with everybody. You feel that you cannot do this. This is simply not your cup of tea. So I would say that fear starts from comparison first. Then what happens is, the second factor that we had already discussed when we were seeing how fear originates, people. So society somewhere or the other makes us think that, and that is also because of comparison. So now if you see, there are norms, there are beliefs, there are codes of conduct that you must believe into. So these things are to be accepted by you. When you are grown up enough to understand what is happening around, you are asked to accept it without knowing what it is. So this belief that has no root, that has absolutely no root in knowing it, understanding it, gives you a very strong sense of security. But at the same time, it brings a larger insecurity in terms of, if you see that somebody questions your belief, the entire security that you have is gone. You are no more able to look at things the way you did, because somebody has shaken your ground on which you were standing. So the whole belief system is questioned, and it will be shaken because you have not explored it. You have just come and believed it. You have no experience with it, but you simply come and start believing it, start taking everything as people say, and that leads to fear of security. The same security is a bigger insecurity.
So Mohit, what are the consequences of this fear?
Shantanu, if you see, all of us, all of us would be sometime or the other would have undergone this, that we are suddenly nervous. We start sweating. We are sitting in an interview, and you do not know what to do. You're sitting there thinking something, you're lost. So being not able to understand yourself is the first consequence of fear. Then fear makes you unable. It takes the power of ability. It just pulls what you can do. It pulls away what you can do from you, and you become helpless. I would also say that fear results in worry, fear results in escape, fear results in resistance, fear results in denying. So these are very subtle aspects of what we do every day. I'm sorry, I would take a sip of water.
So do you think fear is an isolated thing, or
No, Shantanu. Now you have come to the point what I was going to come to. Fear is not an abstraction. Fear cannot exist by itself. It is not possible. Fear can exist only in relation to something. Only if something has happened, fear can be. It is not necessarily that you yourself should have had that experience. You can be afraid of somebody else's experience as well. Like I'll give you a very, very suitable example of it. You know, one of our teachers in my high school used to say, life is not about experiencing everything. It is very intelligent if you learn from somebody else's experience. But do we learn what is only necessary? Do we always do that? No. More than what is necessary, we pick up what is not necessary. And that is his failures, his or her failures, his or her inability, things that the person couldn't do, their insecurity, their inabilities, we take it. So do you just see that we have multiplied our own fears and our own insecurities by picking up somebody else's? So we have to remember this for all the time, every time, in whatever situation we might land up in, we have to remember that fear cannot exist by itself. Fear is no single entity. Fear will always be when there is something. Either you relate it to an experience or belief of somebody else's experience, or a bad day you have had. Maybe your mother has screamed at you. Maybe somebody's wife has screamed at him. She says that she is good for nothing. So fear is not abstract. Fear can only exist when you tie it up with something. Fear is a response. Always remember, fear is a response. Now, this is a very broad term, that fear. Fear is a very broad term. So what do you think it is to be fearless? I think that would be your next question. What it is to be fearless? Being fearless is not to do anything with conquering fear, because fear is something you can never conquer. Now, why is that so? I'll tell you. It is very simple, that we evolve every day, right? So every day things change. It's a dynamic world.
Yeah.
I mean, things change every minute. The technology that you are using in mobile changes the next day. There is an upgrade the next day. So we evolve with that. Situations evolve with that too. Today, if my dad is angry, tomorrow he might not be. So if I behave to him according to what he was yesterday, that would be a blunder, because he is not what he was yesterday. He is not that today. He's a different person. His mood is different. The situation would be different. So if I go and behave to him on the terms he had behaved to me yesterday, would it be right? No. You can disagree with me. That's not a problem.
So can someone go fearless? Like totally fearless?
See, that depends, Shantanu, because the point here is, are we building a defense against fear? Or are we trying to understand it, accept it? Now, you cannot overcome it. You can only understand it. The moment you have understood it, the moment you have accepted it, that this is a part of me, this is an experience that I have had. So you do not deny it. You do not deny that, no, मेरे साथ तो हुआ ही नहीं है ये. So you are one with it. So I think you are over it. You don't need to worry about it anymore. Fear bothers you only till you not accept it. Till you are not in a state to understand it, you say ki nahi, this is a bad experience, I got to eliminate it. You cannot do that. The more you try to do that all of us do, the more it covers you like a tsunami wave. It comes behind you with double speed. So that's what I think, Shantanu, is the problem with fear. And being fearless is not conquering it, not denying it, not running away from it, not escaping. Being fearless in the true sense is accepting it, understanding it, and being one with it. Looking at this ability to look at it objectively without any consequence is the real power, real fearlessness, I would say. So, are there any questions from the viewers? Let's just go to that. Is it working, Mike? Mike, can you help us with the questions? Shantanu, meanwhile, you can just continue. Ask if there is anything.
So what if someone was fearless?
I think I told you that it is just an illusion that we create for ourselves in order to escape. Now we should understand that escaping is not the way. Escaping is simply not the way to overcome fear. The other day I was talking to a friend of mine, Shantanu, and he seems to be worried about almost everything. So I was just trying to understand what is his difficulty. So then I found out that he always tries to shut the door, and his problem is that he never accepts that the experience that he has had is a part of him. It is his experience. The whole problem is denying. He's not ready to look at it as because it has happened, right? You are the one who is experiencing that, right? So he had trouble with that, and then I thought I could help him. So I told him कि भाई you should look at it. You should look at it at a third person view, as if you are not involved in it. So he told me, how is that even possible? I said, if I had a question and I would ask you, right? Because since I am involved in the situation, the moment I am involved, I lose the clarity. So for some time we should try this. I know it's not very easy to do it at the first go, but we should try to separate ourselves from the situation for some time and look at what is happening. You are done, because you look from here. So there are two people, the alter of you and the problem, and you can easily get clarity about it, sort it out. And that comes with practice. I am not no expert, you are no expert, but that comes with practice. That comes with accepting that it has happened. So one of the question is, why is it said that some amount of fear is necessary? Ria has asked this. So Ria, I would like to tell you that it's almost like, having a dog, a puppy who is leashed, and you have tied it in a corner of your house. Now, what is the nature of the dog? What is the nature of the puppy? Shantanu, it runs. You have ever had a puppy?
No.
So, it runs. So what happens is, if you tie it all the time, if you do not allow it to run, it will act as if it is dead. It will be sitting dull all the time. It will not look at you. It will not give you good response. So what you do is, you untie the leash and let the dog run. Now the puppy becomes active, becomes alive when it runs. Because that is its nature. But if you allow it to run the whole day, what will happen? The dog will get tired, the puppy will get tired. So now here you have to be the master and know when to unleash the puppy and when to leash it back. Now that is called intelligence. Most of the time when you say that it is fear that saves us, it is not fear that saves us. It is our intelligence that saves us. Right? If I am in a threat of danger and I would not go to a place where some landslide is happening, so that is not my fear that is working, that is my intelligence, Riya. So some amount of fear, or I would rather say some amount of intelligence, is necessary. Again, this point again comes back to the same thing that we have been discussing, that this fear, we cannot avoid it. We can avoid it. We should not avoid it. Because the moment you avoid it, you are escaping, and that will bother you. So it is better to stay with it for some time. Stay with it, look at it. Look what it is saying to you. Try to have a conversation with your fear. Have you done that? I quite often do that. I have a conversation with me and myself, I asking a question and I answering the question. I answering the question again. So do that. Have the conversation with your fear. I hope that answers your question, Riya.
So Mohit, one of our viewers, Simran, asking, what is the biggest fear of your life?
Oh, that's a tricky question. So, Simran, I would say that my biggest fear is ignoring something that might be important to me. I never know whether it is or not, but I am in this very frequent habit of ignoring things. Chalo dekh lenge attitude. Huh? So that's my biggest fear. I would like to ask you, what is yours?
So another viewer, Aishwarya, is asking, why do people have fear of letting go? What has hurt them?
Okay, Aishwarya. So it's something that I have been with for some time. I'm not talking about a romantic relationship. Any relationship. Any relationship creates a comfort zone. Any relationship creates a comfort zone that you are into. So now, it hurts you, but still that's your comfort zone.
Yes.
I mean, even if it is desert, the people who are living in desert will not be ready to go out of the desert because it is so hot. Because that's their comfort zone. So they will not come out. They will not want to come out. Because somehow they have identified with it. With this, we come to a very important aspect, Shantanu, that, it is identification that leads to fear. You identify to experience, you identify to a group, you identify to a community, you identify with a feeling. So that identification holds you back. And letting go is, I think, the most difficult but the most important part. Because this realization that I have to let go is the biggest thing. Letting letting go is also difficult because we are afraid of being alone. Being alone is something that our culture has always disregarded. Somebody being alone is considered unsocial, introvert that we say. But we must understand that there is no problem with being alone until it is good for you. You should know the limit. You should know where to leash the dog and where to unleash the dog. So intelligence should be at work in that case. And I also think, Aishwarya, it is a very good idea to let yourself experience. Act with experience instead of what fear does to you. Because fear comes from a past experience which has already happened, and if you let that fear shape what is happening and what will happen, I think the whole purpose of understanding and intelligence is washed away.
So another viewer, Atreya, is asking, should we believe someone when they say they don't fear anything?
Why is it that we want others to say that? I don't know how do you feel about it, but I would love if you do not accept what I say. And not just what I say. You should know to question what you think and what you say. It is not just identifying with me or identifying with anybody else. It is for you to learn, explore and accept, because it is yours. It is exclusively yours. It belongs to you and nobody else. Is there any other question?
Do you think losing something triggers fear?
It does. Because again, I think Aishwarya had asked, this fear of letting go. The advanced stage of this fear of letting go is the phenomenon of losing somebody. Now again, with that somebody, you have a comfort zone. So you obviously will have fear of what will happen if the person is gone. If I lose this person. So now we always try to find security with somebody who is not ourselves, who is bound to go and bound to change and evolution. Because Shantanu, I cannot say that you are going to stay with me, because that's not certain and that's not intelligent. So instead of centering our security in somebody else, why don't we center our security with ourselves, our intelligence? Not our fear, but our intelligence. Why not put it open? Why not accept whatever comes? I am not asking not to form a bond or something, but it is something that we all must realize, that we should be open to experiences. So whatever comes my way, I'll embrace it with equality and I'll be open to whatever it brings to me. If I had a bad relationship today, it's not necessary that I am going to have a bad relationship tomorrow as well. I mean, that's not a certificate or something.
Yes.
If today I don't do good in this exam, it is not necessary that I am going to do bad in the next exam as well. I might do good well. I might do good. I might do well. So if we, have this viewpoint that one experience, it is going to be the same every time, that's bad. That's where, you suppress intelligence and you let foolishness grow.
Another question is it important to have fear to be successful?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it's very simple if you take it this way, Shantanu, that fear will always will always bother you, fill you with thoughts. Okay? And when you are thinking the whole day, when will you be able to do? There is no action, there is only thought. And when thoughts overtake, what happens is worry.
Very yes.
You start worrying. You start seeing things being created and falling down. You again recreate it, it again falls down. So this is all a thought. This is just, thoughts. Suddenly when you wake up, you realize, acha, kuch to hua hi nahi, nothing has happened. I mean, everything has happened here and ruined here and again re-happened here. So to be successful, I would say we have to be open. We have to be accepting. We have to be embracing to whatever comes our way. And also, we must take control of life ourselves. I think there are a couple of questions on the page. So, okay. Are irrational fears actually irrational? Aparajita, I would say that fear is irrational. Fear has no rational in it. Fear always comes to you with irrationality. Because to think, to examine, to study is rational. To be worried is irrational. What do you think, Shantanu?
So is fear absence of love?
Totally. Totally. Because love is two things. Love is trust and love is freedom. Both of them leads to security.
Security, yes.
And fear is total absence of love. I would tell you that, Shantanu, fear is the opposite of love and hatred is not the opposite of love. Because fear is the cause of violence and hatred, aggressiveness,
Yes, yes.
aggression. So fear is the opposite of love. Fear is the enemy of your common sense. Fear itself is irrational and it makes you irrational also. So I think that is answered.
So we have one more question. Do being fearless mean acknowledging fear and or ignoring the negative intuitions by positive attitude?
See, like I said in the very beginning, we don't have to classify it. We should not look at it in terms of negative or positive. We should look at it in terms of just it is a part of us. It is something that is happening to us. It is something like being happy about a birthday surprise. Like, so I would also like to tell you here is one thing that is very important. Sometimes what we do is we start overthinking about the bad experiences that we have had and ignore the good things that has happened. So you would often have heard this, Shantanu, from many people, मेरे साथ तो बस बुरा ही होता है. No, it's not that. It is because you keep thinking about this bura that bura comes to you.
Yes.
I mean, you are responsible for it because you will always attract what you are ready for. If you think that बुरा होने वाला है तो बुरा होगा. Nobody can stop that. And even if something good is coming, believe me, you will make it bad. I have done so. That's why I'm very confident when I say this. हम बुरा बना देते हैं उसको. We make it bad. Even if something good is coming, वी इधर डिनाई, अगर कुछ अच्छा आ रहा है वील डिनाई कि अच्छा तो मेरे साथ हो ही नहीं सकता है, सो आई विल शट माई डोर एंड सिट, आई विल नॉट गो फॉर द अपॉर्चुनिटी, एंड देन व्हेन अपॉर्चुनिटी विल नॉट वेट फॉर मी, सो व्हेन आई देन अगेन ओपन माई डोर, देखो यार कुछ नहीं हुआ, बुरा ही होता है मेरे साथ. So I think that answers.
We have enough questions.
So the very important question that we have got very recently is, do the panel thinks that any sure shot solution lies somewhere by which the fear in future cannot rise head again? Again, I think fear is existent only till we let it be. So fear is bad if we think it is bad. If we are able to appreciate fear, it is good. It is what we make of it. I would not say that fear is a bad thing or fear is a good thing. Fear it is very natural, it will occur, you cannot stop it, because you see the mind is the creator of trouble, of fear, and you cannot silence the mind. And even if you are able to do so, I think that's very unnatural. But what do you do with the fear? Are you able to accept it? Are you able to be with it? And then realize what it is trying to tell you. Are we able to have a healthy conversation with fear as it is our friend? Ki, bhaiya, why is this? Why are you bothering me? I mean, do you have any problem? How may I help you, please? So I think that's a better way of looking at it. I think education breeds fear. I mean, education, what we are going through right now, it makes us insecure every day. It gives you some kind of insecurity every day that, what am I doing? Am I back in the race? Because my professor tells me, see, only if you give me 6 assignments on time, you will get 20 marks each, or else you will flunk. So again, I am insecure. Then it pressurizes you. Pressure is also a result of fear. So this whole concept and the whole net, the whole web of fear, I think comes from the modern day education. Because the education does not tell us that we got to spend time with ourselves. We get that we should, make it a point to talk to ourselves, to ask ourselves that are we comfortable. There is no emphasis on being. The entire focus is shifted to becoming. And that's why I think it's the root of all problem. That was a very good question, because our group Join the Dots has come up with this whole purpose of, creating a way, creating a middle path to appreciate life, to stop and give time to yourself. So that was a very good question. Loved it. Anton, do you have anything else in mind?
I think that's enough.
Great. So we would like to end on a very important note.
So how do you conclude this?
We would like to end this on a very important note that, we should be clear. We should have insecurities. We should be with it. We should learn to appreciate it. But at the same time, we should know where to drop it. We should know where it takes us, because we should be the ones who should move, who should decide where to go, and not the fear and insecurity that leads us. We should be the leaders. We should take the insecurity and go where we want to. And that is only when you are in good terms with your insecurities, with your securities, with your fears, with your strengths. So all I would request, all I would ask from all of us who are seeing this today, that do not avoid fear, do not try to get rid of it. Because when you try to do that, you will always invite more of it. Because it is never going to end. Because it changes its course every day as we do, as our understanding does. So my only request is, be neutral, be open, and be accepting. So is there anything else, Shantanu, that you would like to add to it?
Should we doubt?
Yeah, that's the most important. We should doubt not only others, ourselves. But again, I am making this a point that we should be wise enough, we should be clear enough when to stop doubting. Because if you doubt all the time, there is no movement again. A little doubt gives you clarity. A small question gives you a real sense of what is happening and who you are. And you should know when to shed that. When to come out from the doubt and act. Be the leader, be the mover. And be your own leader. There is nobody who can teach you. And we will be very happy if you come up with questions after you think about it later as you listen to it, listen to the live session. We would be very happy if you come up with questions, queries, your views. If you disagree with us, if you agree with us, we would just love this. And then again, I am making this point very clear. I'm stressing on it that fear cannot exist alone. Fear always has something to rely. Fear will always find something to rely. So please do not give it reasons to breed on. And thank you for being with us today.
Hope you guys enjoyed it.
And it was some learning to you. And again, we are no experts. We have just been closely studying fear. As you know, we study geography and chemistry and physics. We have been studying fear very objectively. And all this is what we think of it. And we would love to know what you think of it. Please share.
Like and comment.
Thank you very much.